You can hear me. What do we know about Shaun Abrahams announcing this decision today? We heard from him on Monday that he would first be conferring with former President Jacob Zuma before announcing it to the public. It's now meant to happen at 3:30.
That's right. News just in from the NPA's head office that a media briefing will be held at 3:30 this afternoon at the Silverton offices in Pretoria on which way the National Director of Public Prosecution, Shaun Abrahams, will go. Now, he really has, it seems, stuck to his word. He did tell us at Parliament the other evening that it was very likely that he would make an announcement to South Africans on Friday after he had written and consulted, not necessarily consulted, but written to the parties involved. Now, we presume that that is former President Jacob Zuma, but we are not sure about whether Tint is a party to that, because when the DA in the spy tapes case asked for the charges to be reinstated, they didn't include Tint in that. So all we know at this stage is that an announcement will be made at 3:30. I'm not 100% sure whether the parties or the party, i.e. former President Jacob Zuma's legal team, has been advised of what Shaun Abrahams is going to do, but I can assure you that it's not going to be straightforward, whatever decision he makes.
Now, Annika, we're saying that Shaun Abrahams is making the announcement on this decision, but of course it's not a decision that he took alone.
No, we understand that there was a group of prosecutors who've been working through the representations that Zuma made to the NPA some weeks ago. We understand that there was the fresh information coming out of there really dealt with the KPMG report that was used to consolidate some of the fraud and corruption charges and some of the forensic information that was in the original indictment. And that this team was led by KZN Prosecution's boss Moipone Noko and assisted by prosecutors Lunga Mahlati, Billy Downer, who you remember, he's now senior counsel. He was the lead prosecutor in the original case, Raymond Matenjwa and Alicia Kutsia. So that team of prosecutors, we understand, were in favor of a prosecution to go ahead and to be reinstated, a blueprint really of the 18 charges which included money laundering, fraud, corruption and racketeering from 783 questionable payments. But we do not have confirmation yet of what Shaun Abrahams will announce this afternoon at 3:30.
So, Annika, CASAC, the Council for the Advancement of the South African Constitution, they've been central to issues around this case. We've seen Lawson Naidoo on numerous occasions saying that really Shaun Abrahams and the NPA have no room to maneuver here. Most recently, it says it expects this decision to go in terms of prosecuting the former president.
Well, just remember that there is a confirmatory judgment pending in the Constitutional Court confirming the High Court's ruling that Shaun Abrahams should not legitimately be the Director of Public Prosecutions because of the way that eNCA was handled when he was given that golden handshake. So what CASAC did was they launched an application for an urgent interdict to stay Abrahams' decision pending that confirmatory judgment, because they said that a decision such as this needs to be made by a public prosecutions director that has the faith of the public and has the support of the general public. And their concern really was that if he does go ahead and charge former President Jacob Zuma, Zuma will be able to take that on review should Shaun Abrahams no longer be in his post in, for instance, a week's time. The Constitutional Court say that they had made that urgency themselves and they turned down their application for that interdict. So what we could potentially see now is if Shaun Abrahams does decide to go ahead with what his prosecutorial team has advised him to do, which is possibly go ahead with the prosecution, he may not be in a job in the next few weeks, in which case it'll be interesting to see if there there is a charge, what the parties involved in that will do. Will they ask for a review, saying that Shaun Abrahams was not the right person in a position to make a legitimate decision on the indictment?
All right, thanks very much for that preview. Our senior reporter Annika Larsen just giving us some context around this breaking news story, some news just in for you. The NPA announcing that Shaun Abrahams will announce that decision around whether or not former President Jacob Zuma will be prosecuted. That announcement set to take place at 3:30 this afternoon. You can